Help support the companies that support our community. This is a piece of walnut, about 7.5 inches in diameter and about 2 inches thick. I drilled a hole in it and then used the worm screw in the chuck to mount it on there. Went ahead and threaded it on. I brought the tailstock up to support it while I was shaping the outside of it. And for that, I did it with a bowl gouge, shaped the outside of it, and then put a recess on the bottom. After I got the recess done, I dry sanded it with a couple of grits and then switched over to the Howards and went ahead and finished it off all the way up to 600. Once that was done, went ahead and flipped it around in the chuck, unscrewed it from the worm screw, changed the jaws, and then used that recess to grab a hold of it and clean out the inside of it. And for that, I used the number 1 hollower. On the inside, I just ran through a couple of grits up to 240 because I want to do some carving and some inlay in it, so I didn't want to put any oil on it yet. So after I got that done, I went ahead and put it on the carving stand and just kind of drew some abstract lines on it. Later on, Robin didn't think it was enough, so I added a couple more. She thought it looked like a child cut up their own birthday cake or something. So I just put in, I think, 5 of them here, but I added a couple more at the end of it to make it a little more abstract. And then I used the Arbortech, the power carver with the V-bit on it, and went ahead and carved those little lines out there before starting the inlay. For the inlay, I'm using gold flake. So I messaged Scott Grove, he's the inlay master, and I asked him what to use. He said use the Starbond Black CA. It'll really make the gold pop wherever it doesn't stick to it. So that's what I did. So for this, I'm using the Easy Inlay, the gold flake, and so I just put down little bits of the black CA and then just tore off little bits of it. It comes in a big can and you just kind of press it down into the CA glue. So I went ahead and kept doing that. Like I mentioned earlier, I added some more lines after I got all this done, but it's pretty easy. You just put the CA glue down in the grooves and then tear off little pieces of the gold flake and kind of press them down into it. Let that set up for a little while and then just take a brush. I think there's supposed to be some sort of special brush, but I just grabbed a paintbrush and dusted it off. This is the first time I've done this kind of technique, so it's kind of cool. I really like the way it turned out. He mentioned too to use that black CA, especially if it's not like a super dark wood, it will really make the gold pop. After the CA dried, I went ahead and took it off of the carving stand and put it back on the lathe and just went ahead and finished sanding it and applied a little bit of oil to it. Well, there it is. It's walnut. It's about 7 inches in diameter and about 2 inches thick. So it's a really cool technique. So we were trying to come up with a project a few days ago, and Jamie sent Robin a video off of TikTok, and it was somebody doing something similar to this, and it's a technique called kintsugi. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I'm sorry. So it's a Japanese technique where they would fix broken pottery with gold. So that's kind of the same style here. It's not pottery, but it's really cool. I used the Easy Inlay on that from Scott Grove. So it's super neat stuff. That stuff it's a little jug full of flakes. So you can use the Starbond. It worked fantastic for it, and a great tip for making it darker. Even though this is walnut, when you look down in there, the black really shows up and it like highlights the gold in it. So it's kind of cool. I'd really like to do another one, but actually epoxy it. I think it would pop even more. So it's a fun project. I'm sorry I'm not pronouncing it right, but Jamie's English, and he can't even pronounce aluminum right, so don't beat me up too bad. But it was really fun project and a new technique that I've learned, so it's kind of cool. All right, I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next week. I got a fun project next week, so we already actually have a project planned for next week. All right, everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.